Hello and welcome to SULKNATIONtv. Now in this episode we're going to be talking about buying a car from eBay and living with it for the first year. Now I know what you're thinking, some people buying a car from eBay isn't going to last a year. But my one has, and I'm pretty damn happy about that. So I was in the market for a car that I've loved for a long time. I owned its less fun predecessor, let's say. I went for a Mini Cooper S R53. The first opportunity I had, it didn't work out for me. I managed to get one, 140,000 miles on the clock for £620. It needed quite a lot of aesthetic work. It was black with lime green highlights, which looked absolutely awful. But it fell through. I won it. I won the bid. I was like, no way, that gives me a bigger budget to spend on modifications and maintenance. And unfortunately, the seller crashed it not long after receiving my money. So I got my money back. That wasn't an issue. I'm sure he relisted it. I'm pretty sure on some R53 forums I've seen that car, and it certainly wasn't written off or have any kind of accident whatsoever, but it was still very ugly. That colour scheme just does not work for me. There was too much lime. If it was just the brake calipers, if it was just, say, the wing mirror covers, that's actually quite cool. But it was every accent you could think of was coloured lime green and the bodywork stayed black. And that just wasn't really for me. And so, maybe I wouldn't have paid more for that car than what I bid. And then this car, the one I'm sat in, fell into my lap. Now, it was about a week later. I had to wait another 5 days. Yeah, patience is a virtue, and I struggle with patience. And so that was difficult. But I got a 05 plate facelift R53 in pure silver, and I love it. I've had it for a year and I've spent, well, 3 times the amount on it that it cost me in that first year of ownership, excluding insurance and road tax. It purely on, well, there's been some things I've had to fix and other things have been purely, let's just upgrade it. Even though, does it necessarily need to be upgraded? Probably not, but I've upgraded it anyway. So yeah, the first year of ownership has been, so far, quite thrilling. The car is amazing to drive, I'm not gonna lie. The first car I ever bought was an R50, a yellow R50 Mini Cooper, and I love that car. I put an induction kit in it, made it sound a bit louder, a bit more lively. But the Cooper S with its supercharger whine is phenomenal. But anyway, back to this particular car. Now, I bought it for £1,120. It had a lot of paperwork, pretty much a full service history, which is great, and 104 and a bit thousand miles on the clock. So, being the nerdy, over-analytical person that I am, and the more videos you watch on SULKNATIONtv, the more you'll figure that out. I'd already looked into what needed to be done. What around 100,000 miles goes. Now, these cars have a timing chain, so as long as your timing chain, tension and your timing chain are okay, that's not something you need to worry about at 100,000 miles. But looking through all that paperwork, did I see at any point a supercharger service? Anything to suggest it had been done? No, I didn't, no. So instantly I went, right, okay, I'm not particularly mechanically minded. I've got a good relationship with a company that specializes in BMW and BMW Mini, and my first port of call was, right, let's go and take it in for a full service and a supercharger service. So that was a lot of money in one go, but essentially it was needed to be spent. And it's been worthwhile. It really has. Get a supercharger service done. If your car's on around 100,000 miles, get one done, because I've got a Teflon coated one because it's a facelift model. I've also got a limited slip differential, an LSD, in the facelift model. So, I lucked out there quite a lot. Considering the initial R53 I won via a 620 or maybe a £640 bid, the 140,000 mile black and lime abomination of an R53, that was a 53 plate. So that was a pre-facelift, doesn't have an LSD, doesn't have a Teflon coated supercharger. Not that I think that makes that much of a difference as far as I'm aware. I mean, it's good to have these things. And so a slightly higher spec'd car with 170 out of the factory rather than 163 brake horsepower, I was lucky enough for this to fall in my lap. Or was I? Now, the way the car looks today, sat as it is right now in an industrial state in Exeter, where there are seagulls flying past, there's a lovely Porsche 911, which is stunning. This car was not in the best state when I bought it. It wasn't terrible, it drove okay, but it wasn't in the best state ever. The bodywork needed a bit of love. There was a few bits and pieces that you look at and go, it's not a necessity that I change it, but maybe I should change it. So I did that. I got in contact weirdly with I tried to contact two previous owners that I found names of. A bit stalkery, I know, on Facebook. I found their names in the receipt. So I managed to get one of those previous owners, to contact me, and he contacted me. He sent me pictures of when he had the car, which was great to see that sort of history of it. And this car was 100% a show car in 2012, 2013. It looked stunning. By the time I got it in 2019, less so. So it had a lot of fake carbon fibre on it, which I hate. If you're going carbon fibre, it's got to be real carbon fibre. Fake carbon fibre looks awful. So, no, get rid of carbon fibre. That was one of my first things to do aesthetically. But, yeah, I mean, it looked stunning in the pictures that you sent me from 2013. It was even in the what Performance Mini magazine used to be called. I can't remember off the top of my head for that one, but it was a middle page spread in there. So I thought that was pretty damn good. I was really chuffed, I'm not going to lie. Let's change my goal from having a project to making it show car standard again. Now, in a year, I haven't done that. I've certainly peeled off all of the very tired black wrap that was on the roof and the spoiler. I've spent most of the time and money that I've spent on it over the year that I've owned it. A lot of it's been in the engine bay, improving stuff, making things right. There was a few things I had to change to pass the MOT, such as the exhaust. So, yeah, I might have spent a lot of money on it, and it is a project, and I bought it for a project. And could I really afford to spend the money I've spent on it? No, not really. Thank you, PPI, from banks and credit card companies that owed me a lot of money for mis-selling payment protection insurance. That definitely a big chunk of the money I've spent on this car was from that, which is great. I'm going to be completely open about how much I've spent on it, and hopefully my wife won't watch it, because if she does, I'm in trouble, which isn't great. But let's move away from that and talk about how good the R53 is as a car. Now, I think this car is the most fun car I've ever driven. And yeah, I haven't driven the Porsche, I prefer Porsche, that is parked to the right of me over this way. I haven't driven that car. I couldn't say if that's more fun to drive than this. It quite possibly could be, but in my limited experience of driving cars, this is definitely the most fun car I've ever driven, I've ever owned. And I love every inch of it, I really do. And one of the reasons why it's so worth it finding a good deal on eBay is if you can get a car at a good price and you want it as a project and you're not worried about putting in some hours, you don't expect it to be show car perfect or even track car perfect, and you've got a little bit of time on your hands, then it's an excellent car to do that with, and the reason it is because it's probably the most customizable car from the time period it originated. So we're talking 2003 to 2006. It's one of the reasons you buy an R53. It's not just a supercharger. It is very much the fact that you can customize it. There's a lot of stuff you can do under the engine bay. You know, there's a lot of people that I've seen who absolutely go crazy with color under the engine bay, but you can change the color of the interior. You can do that yourself. As the engine bay is concerned, it's quite easy to get to where you need to go, to do little bits yourself, like change your rocker cover or your rocker cover gasket, you know, upgrade your bolts from the rusty ones that are going to be underneath the bonnet to stainless steel. If you need to change a timing chain tensioner, you know, I haven't done mine, but I know how easy it is to get access to it. The most difficult thing under the bonnet, from my point of view, the most frustrating thing, because it's so fiddly, was putting the intercooler back on. It's a top mounted intercooler. So putting that back on top of the supercharger and connecting the snoot boots was a nightmare the first time I did it, because, you know, you get one side in and then the other side pops out, and then when you put the other side in, the other side pops out. Then you need a screwdriver, and you've got to be really careful with the screwdriver because you don't want to punch your snoot boots. That sort of stuff does happen, and it's annoying. I've done some really annoying stuff in the time I've had this car and done things on it, but in the year I've owned it, I've gone from knowing nothing and being absolutely unable to do anything mechanical to actually learning a hell of a lot of stuff in the engine bay of this car and the interior and underneath, and you know, it goes on. I've learned a lot more, so now I feel relatively confident and even competent when it comes to this car in particular, or these cars in particular, and maintenance that I know I can do, maintenance that I feel I've got faith to do, or faith in myself to do. So yes, bigger bits I'm going to take to the guys that you know I trust at Paddock Motors in Exeter, or just outside Exeter. The guys at Paddock Motors, shout out to them, they're amazing. I get on with everyone I've met down there, I think is excellent. You know, Glenn and Richard especially, and Mark, the managing director, they're all really nice guys. And if you're in this area of the world, the Southwest, definitely take your car there for some maintenance. You know, if it's something you can't do yourself, they are excellent, they're spot on. Just to confirm, this video certainly isn't sponsored by them. Nothing is at this moment in time, nothing sponsored. It's just me, a phone, a GoPro, and, you know, whoever's watching it, which could be any of you. So, a year owning an eBay bought car. Is it worth it? Yes. Has it been fun all the time? No. But if you're looking for a project, eBay's a great place to find one. If you're looking for a project from eBay and you want to be able to work on it relatively easily, if you've got even a smidgen of mechanical nous, then a Mini Cooper S R53 is something you should look at. And if you want something that gives you an absolutely superb driving experience, not only the actual activity of driving, but the sounds, the everything like that, then these cars are superb. So, this has been SULKNATIONtv. I've been me, you've been you, and well done for that.